we talk about the pending World Championship match for main event Jey Uso tomorrow night on Saturday night's main event. My name is Sean Hubbard, and I am the founder of Hubbard Wrestling Weekly and the co-founder along with Conrad Cushman of Clash of the Podcast. Quick programming note: we're going to be with you next Thursday, the Thursday before the Royal Rumble. Myself and Conrad Cushman will be live on this channel right here on Hubbard Wrestling Weekly to preview the Royal Rumble along with our good friend Jesse from Pro Wrestling Shoot. So let's get right into this thing, man. Happy to be with you guys. Happy Friday. Just saw the conclusion of SmackDown. I thought it was kind of a subpar show, but that's neither here nor there at this point. Thankful to people who are here. Clown is in the building. Appreciate you. Clown 13Z, 4Tweezy in the building. Always a pleasure. Matt Lopez has been retweeting and posting about the show all day. He says, hello, good evening. I appreciate you so much. And of course, the one and only Conrad Cushman of Everything Pro Wrestling and Clash of the Podcast is here, fired up for this episode of HUBBanomics, the 21st installment of HUBBanomics, 20-minute, basically 20-minute breakdowns of the latest and greatest in the world of professional wrestling. I've done a previous HUBBanomics on the one and only Jey Uso, which is kind of a career synopsis, but this one is pretty much focused on the upcoming professional wrestling event we know as Saturday night's main event, the second installment of Saturday night's main event since its return in December of 2024, bringing back that retro flavor that I particularly like. Some people don't, but I definitely am a person of nostalgia, so I was very happy to see this iconic programming on the NBC network and Peacock return this past December, and it is back in San Antonio, Texas tomorrow night. A couple of really good matches on the card, including Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. We have the women's championship match between Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley, and a plethora of other contests that are going to take center stage tomorrow night in San Antonio. However, the focus for tonight's HUBBanomics is going to be the reigning heavyweight champion of the world, Gunther, the unstoppable almost Gunther, defending his championship against main event Jey Uso. So here's the thing, guys. For me, there is no question that a main event Jey Uso world championship reign is long overdue, right? However, I want to be realistic about this thing. I want to take my fandom out of it. I want to take all of that, make that a non-factor. I want to talk about the real deal of the situation. Jey Uso is a very talented individual, but he does have a lot of work that he needs to do on his moveset. I think there is a great deal of improvement that needs to be made, and with that will come more success. However, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. When you are as popular as this man has become in the world of professional wrestling, especially under the umbrella of World Wrestling Entertainment, that should come with some sort of reward. When you are as talented as Jey Uso and as popular as Jey Uso, selling as much merchandise as Jey Uso has sold, getting the crowd reactions that Jey Uso gets, that is supposed to mean something. John Cena did not have a stellar moveset. He deserved to be world champion. He was. Hulk Hogan did not have a stellar moveset. This is not about personality. This is about wrestling. In 1987, did Hulk Hogan deserve to be the world champion? He did. And at that point, he had the leg drop and the big boot. So nothing stellar about that. Everybody's not going to be Shawn Michaels. Everybody's not going to be the phenomenal AJ Styles. Everybody's not going to be this tremendous, outstanding, over-the-top professional wrestler that can leap tall buildings in a single bound, for lack of better terms. Sometimes you're going to have limitations. But in every way that Jey Uso is lacking in his moveset and the improvements that he needs to make, he more than makes up for in his charisma. He more than makes up for in his popularity. He more than makes up for in his ability to make you interested in him when he is on your television screen. This is professional wrestling. I've said it many, many times. We don't call it fake, but I call it is what it is. It is predetermined. It's not fake. The athleticism is real. The ability in the ring is real. The risk of injury is real. So there's nothing fake about it, but it is predetermined. So when you are making a decision on who is going to be your world champion, that should be based on a multitude of factors. I am not a Triple H fan as it relates to his booking style. I am not a Bruce Pritchard fan in this modern era of his booking style. I've said it once, I'll say it again also. I do not think Cody Rhodes' reign as the world champion, the WWE champion, has been stellar. I do not think he's blowing the doors off as it relates to charisma and being entertaining. I don't feel that way. Plain and simple. Kevin Owens is killing it right now. He deserves to win next Saturday. Jey Uso is killing it right now, and he deserves to win tomorrow. Will he win tomorrow? Probably not. Probably not. He's probably going to either win by disqualification or he's going to lose. You know, Drew McIntyre interferes, Kevin Owens interferes, somebody in that ballpark, costing him the title, but maybe he wins the match. Or basically, Triple H just books Gunther to beat him straight up 1, 2, 3. I don't necessarily understand it, but that's not for me to understand, I guess. But I will take you down memory lane right quick if you wouldn't mind taking this journey with me, just so you can understand my point a little bit more clearly. Roman Reigns was the longest reigning world champion in the modern era. When this whole bloodline thing got started, Jey Uso did not jump on board right away. I've talked about that in the archives with the bloodline history. I'm not going to go down that road right now. However, I will be talking about the fact that Jey Uso challenged Roman Reigns twice during the pandemic era for the WWE Championship. I did not think at that time that Jey Uso was worthy of being the World Heavyweight Champion. At that time, around that time, Jey Uso won what was then, I'm going to say it again, what was then the prestigious Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy. It is no longer prestigious. But back then it was. And I thought that was going to be the catapult to Jey Uso's career. Now, Jey Uso ended up having a masterful, wonderful run with his brother. But until his brother came back from injury, shout out to Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso was the right-hand man. He eventually fell in line after the loss to Roman Reigns at Night of Champions, after the loss to Roman Reigns at Hell in a Cell. Jey Uso fell in line and became the right-hand man of Roman Reigns and the wise man Paul Heyman. Jey Uso would not be in the World Championship picture for quite some time. Around the time that he started breaking away from the bloodline, he got a United States Championship match against Austin Theory. He would lose. He would then go on to challenge Roman Reigns after I thought was a magnificently done face turn where he said, "And I'm out too," to Jimmy Uso and kick Roman Reigns in the face. I thought it was absolutely outstanding. I thought the fact that the Usos beat Solo and Roman Reigns were going to catapult them into the stratosphere. I was there. I was at Madison Square Garden that night when they came to the ring after beating Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa in London, England. They came back to the United States. The SmackDown that followed was at Madison Square Garden, New York City. I was there. I promise you, with no hyperbole and no extra dramatics, I promise you that the ovation for Jimmy and Jey Uso was on a level of Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair or Triple H coming back from a quad injury. That was the type of pop that the Usos got on that given Friday night back in July of 2023. Point blank period. For whatever reason, they decided to break the Usos up, which Jimmy was the reason that Jey did not win the Undisputed Championship against Roman Reigns. His third World Championship loss, his fourth singles championship loss since the bloodline began. He would then go on to face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. He would lose that match. He would then go on to challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship going into WrestleMania season. Due to his brother, he would lose that. He would then go to Backlash after beating his brother at WrestleMania. And I admit, being fair, the Jimmy versus Jey matchup was not great, but in my opinion, never should have happened. So let me say that. But it was not great. Jimmy and Jey did not put on that night. I'll be honest with you. But then you start to think the wheels are turning. You're starting to think that perhaps Triple H and the powers that be in World Wrestling Entertainment are going to let this young man who is doing amazing things from a popularity, merchandise, and character standpoint win the World Championship. Now, this is when Damian Priest, this is coming off the heels of Damian Priest winning the world title against Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania just a month before. Typically, when you win a world championship at WrestleMania, you do not lose it the next month at Backlash. But I am telling you something. When I am sitting in my living room and I am watching Jey Uso come through the crowd in Paris, France, and I am seeing 20,000 people with lights on their phones, yeeting, as they would say, or just vibing out in a way that I don't think I've ever seen before or since. Jey Uso, I dare someone to challenge me on this. Jey Uso's entrance at Backlash 2024 was one of the most epic things I've ever seen in my entire life. One of the greatest entrances of all time. I said it, of all time. The Jey Uso entrance was on the same level of Shawn Michaels coming down on a zip line at WrestleMania 12. It was on the same lines. I am not taking it back. I am not stuttering when I'm saying what I'm saying. Jey Uso in Paris, France at Backlash was on the same level of, I don't know, Jade Cargill and Naomi and Bianca coming out, all three strong black women at WrestleMania 40. Or any other epic entrance. Stone Cold at WrestleMania 14. Stone Cold at WrestleMania 19 in his last match. The Rock at WrestleMania 19. I don't care. Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Razor Ramon defying the laws of bad luck and going underneath the ladder at WrestleMania 10 to face Shawn Michaels in a ladder match. Jey Uso's entrance in Paris, France was one of the most epic things I've ever seen. And it was a good match, but how did it turn out? He lost. There's nothing against Damian Priest. Damian Priest was a good world champion, but we're talking about Jey Uso. So when you include that world championship loss to Mr. Damian Priest in April of May of 2024, that left Jey Uso 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0-7 in singles championship matches. Conrad says that SmackDown put him to sleep tonight. M. Leezy says tomorrow Saturday night's main event looks pretty solid. I agree, it does look pretty solid. M. Leezy says if Logan Paul gets a world title run before Jey Uso, that would be some BS. I could not agree more. I agree with you completely. Conrad says that pin on Roman Reigns was huge. Absolutely. When he pinned him I'm assuming you're talking about when he pinned him at Money in the Bank. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cleasy13Z4 Tweezy says, I don't know if the Andre the Giant Battle Royal was ever actually a prize. It was something for people to get a Mania payday. I hear you, but I have to think Baron Corbin's win. Look back at the Baron Corbin win, or look back at, I should say I'm kind of mixing it up right now. The Claudio Castagnoli win was phenomenal at WrestleMania 30. It was absolutely fantastic. So there was some lineage to it, but it definitely fizzled. Conrad asked me, what was the moment that made you believe in him? Jey Uso. That was when he kicked Roman in the face. When he kicked Roman in the face, set up the tag match, he pinned him at Money in the Bank. At that SummerSlam, I thought Jey Uso had arrived. Maybe I was a little bit overzealous in thinking he should win that match at SummerSlam. I probably was kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but that was the moment I said, "Yo, Jey Uso is him." Point blank period. And they need to give this guy an opportunity. But they wouldn't give him an opportunity for quite a long time. Clown says people being hyped for an entrance happen every day for RVD and ECW, and the original ECW, never a world champion. Okay, fair enough. But at the end of the day, RVD eventually did become WWE and ECW champion in WWE. So here's the thing for me. I'm big on resume, Clown. I'm big on resume, chat. When you deserve to have a world championship on your resume for the career that you put together, it's a crime when that does not happen. So even though it didn't happen in the original ECW, RVD is a former WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So he got his flowers. It may have taken him some time, but he got his flowers. You know what I'm saying? Emily says SmackDown was boring. I agree. It was not a good show tonight. Probably held back for tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow's halfway decent for Saturday night's main event. We all know that Jey Uso would eventually become the Intercontinental Champion for 28 days. Go back in the archive, see my reaction to that. I was very happy. Still am that he got his moment in the sun to be a singles champion and get that added notch on his resume that I have been talking about all this time. I say it all the time, and I bring up the same three names all the time. Owen Hart, Scott Hall, Kurt Hennig. It is a crime. It is a crime. And I don't understand why more people don't have outrage about the fact that Kurt Hennig, Scott Hall, or Owen Hart were not ever world champion. So we go into tomorrow night. I'm going to go a little longer than 20 minutes, so bear with me. We go into tomorrow night. After Jey Uso had a 28-day reign as the Intercontinental Champion, myself, Conrad, have talked about this on Clash of the Podcast. Make sure you tune in this Monday night, 6:05, each and every Monday night, 6:05. We've talked about this before. We made mention that we felt like maybe Triple H felt a little bit of heat and became a little bit, I guess you can say he decided to change his tune a little bit and let Jey win that match. Many people think that Braun would have never lost the title at all, but they gave Uso his moment in the sun, which he so richly deserved, which the fans were clamoring for. So he won the Intercontinental Championship, held it for 28 days as we were getting prepared for the Survivor Series Bloodline situation. He would lose it 4 weeks later, and Braun Breaker's been Intercontinental Champion ever since, defending the IC title against Sheamus tomorrow night, by the way. So my question is this, guys. When you are arguably, and that's a big argument because you got your CM Punks, you got your Cody Rhodes, and many other guys. But when you are arguably the most popular professional wrestler in the most popular brand in pro wrestling, okay, maybe you're not Roman Reigns, maybe you're not CM Punk, but Jey Uso, from a popularity standpoint, is top 5 in the entire company. I dare anybody to challenge me on that. Top 5 in the entire company. I can back it up with merch sales. I can back it up with crowd reaction, whatever you want to do. So when you're that guy, my question is, when you go into Saturday night's main event, San Antonio, Texas, and you lose, because let's all be real. I hope I'm wrong, but Jey Uso is probably, well, I'll put it like this. He may not lose the match, but the odds of Jey Uso walking out as World Heavyweight Champion are slim to none, right? So when Jey Uso walks out of San Antonio still never winning a singles championship or a singles world championship, and we look back at his career to this point and say he was 0-1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in singles matches, then becomes 1-7 by beating Braun Breaker, then lost to Braun Breaker, and now loses to Gunther at Saturday night's main event. Where does that leave Jey Uso? Because the thing that I've talked about, Conrad's talked about, people have heard us talk about in the chat on Clash of the Podcast on the EPW channel, if you're not going to let him win the title, why do you keep putting him in these situations where he's the challenger for the title? Because all this is doing is building up that second number. Right now, he's 1-8 in singles title matches. Tomorrow will be 1-9, and then 1-10, and then 1-11, and 12, and 13, and so on and so forth. Why are you continuing to put him in these situations to make him lose? If you're not going to give this young man an opportunity to have his moment, then why is Jey Uso even in the World Championship picture? Now, he deserves to be in the World Championship picture, and that may sound like I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth, but follow me on this, guys. Follow me on this. Jey Uso deserves to be the World Heavyweight Champion. But if you've already made up in your mind, Paul Levesque, Bruce Pritchard, whoever else is running the show over there, if you've already made up your mind that he's not going to win the world title, then what are you accomplishing by having him challenge for the title and continue to lose? Can somebody help me understand that? Because it makes no sense to me. What is it going to do to benefit Jey Uso's career to walk into San Antonio, Texas tomorrow night and lose to Gunther? Better yet, what does it do for Jey Uso's career if he loses to Gunther, looking back at the win he had against Drew McIntyre at the first Monday Night Raw on Netflix? It would have made more sense. And you're talking to Jey Uso. I'm a Jey Uso guy, right? Nobody's happier to see Jey Uso in a world title match than me. But then I thought about it and I was like, oh my God, I'm happy Jey Uso's in the world title match again, but he's going to lose. And when he loses, he's going to be 1-9 in singles title matches, 0-7 in singles world title matches. What does it all mean? How is that productive? Because one thing Conrad Cushman has pointed out to me that I'm not very happy about, but I had to accept it as the truth. The popularity of Jey Uso, just like the popularity of every other professional wrestler in the world, eventually will run out. And when we're looking back at this next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I'm saying 3, 4, 5, hopefully because it lasts a long time. But if we look at it 3, let's just say 3 is a magic number. When we look back at this 3 years from now and Jey Uso has been the top 5 popular wrestler in WWE and he has no titles to show for it, what did it all mean? M. Leezy says the more he loses, the more the fans lose faith in him. 100%, M. Leezy. Clown says Jake should be on that list. He never even got the IC belt. Jake the Snake, I'm assuming you're talking about. He should have been a champion. I agree. He deserved it. But M. Leezy's point is the point of the night. More he loses, the more the fans lose faith in him. And that's a fact. So what are we accomplishing, Paul Levesque? What are we accomplishing, Bruce Pritchard, by putting this guy who's over like Rover in a world championship match against Gunther for him to either win by disqualification, win by countout, or lose outright? Because you know what? At this point, I probably feel lucky, happy, blessed if Jey Uso won by disqualification. Because what I really think is going to happen is I think Triple H is going to book this guy to lose to Gunther clean. And at that point, what the heck are we doing? Clown says, is Earthquake less than? Question mark. Is King Kong Bundy less than? Is Piper less than? They all lost multiple title matches and are still great. That's not the point. First of all, Earthquake and King Kong Bundy, God bless them, are not in this conversation. Okay, Roddy Piper is. I will give you Roddy Piper. Are we saying that Roddy Piper should not have been a world champion? First of all, Roddy Piper didn't want to be world champion, so he doesn't even count. Roddy Piper, God rest his soul, he deserved to be world champion, but did not want to be. Jey Uso has been on the record as saying he most definitely wants to be world champion one day. Earthquake had his moment with Hogan. He was like a flashing light in the sun. He had a great run with Hogan. There wasn't much after that. Had some tag team title success with Typhoon. Not much success in WCW. King Kong Bundy challenged Hogan for the title. No one was going to beat Hogan in 1986 at WrestleMania 2. So that wasn't even a factor either. I hear what you're saying, but it's not the same thing, Clown. It's not the same thing. M. Leezy says, You say Jey wins by DQ or countout. That could happen or lead to a rematch at the Rumble. Now that Rumble has sold over 60,000 tickets. Emily, if you're trying to get me hyped to think that maybe Jey Uso is going to win the world title at the Royal Rumble, I would be ecstatic to think that's the case, but that can't be the case because Jey Uso's in the Royal Rumble. Now, in my mind, I love what you're saying. In my mind, if Jey Uso wins by DQ or countout, leads to a rematch at the Rumble, he wins the title, then I'll gladly say I was wrong. But my question to you is, do you really trust Triple H to make that decision? Because Triple H has already announced through Jey Uso's post-match interview at Netflix on the first Raw on Netflix that Jey Uso is going to be in the Royal Rumble. So do you think, from your knowledge of Triple H, M. Leezy, do you believe Triple H, Paul Levesque, is going to deviate from his original plan and throw a curveball and have Jey Uso win the world title? I don't. I don't have that much confidence in Paul Levesque as a booker. I've said it before. I'll say it again. When Triple H makes a decision about what direction he's going to go, he's not going to deviate from that at all. Never. Never. He's never going to deviate. Oh, Jey Uso hotter than fish grease. Jey Uso getting the best crowd reactions on Raw. Yeah, but we still got to do the bloodline. Or we can't do the bloodline and have Jey Uso have a singles championship, so we're going to give it to him just to appease the fans and then take it away 28 days later. Come on, bro. I do not trust Paul Levesque. I don't. That's true. Cards always subject to change. Very rarely does that happen with Triple H. I wouldn't bank on it. The only Vinny we like is in the building. Happy Friday, and God bless you too, my friend. I'm glad you were here. I hit you up. We're going to talk about college football. Maybe we can set something up for September, man. I like what you're doing. I'm a college football fan myself. And Leezy says, no, I don't trust Triple H, but on the slim chance and card subject to change, Jey gets moved out of the Rumble to the world title, leaving a spot open for the Rumble for you-know-who. If you smell, I'm right there with you, man. I would love that to be the case, but Triple H is a hard-headed brother, man. Triple H is a hard-headed dude, man. If it's not his way, it's the highway. So I don't know, man. But all I can say is this. Jey Uso is 1-9 in singles matches, 0-6 or 7 in world title matches. He's going into Saturday night's main event tomorrow night, still with a whole lot of momentum. But M. Leezy said it tonight accurately, and Conrad said it accurately in the past. The more he loses, the less steam he's going to have. So my thing is, I don't know. My prediction for the match, I think Jey Uso is going to literally lose to Gunther 1-2-3 in the middle of the ring. Or he's going to, I'll take it back. He's going to lose it in the middle of the ring 1-2-3 due to the power bomb, or he is going to be choked out with the sleeper. And that's a shame. Because Jey Uso deserves to be. It's true, man. I'm not just saying this as a fan. I have metrics and stats to back up what I'm saying. Dude is selling merchandise like nobody's business, bro. Like nobody's business. His crowd reactions, like I said, I want you guys to look at it on YouTube and then get back to me. Send me a comment, send me Rob, I see you. What up, baby? How you doing, man? Thank you for being here. Compare that entrance in Paris, France at Backlash to any entrance in the history of the business. I am not overhyping it, bro. Jey Uso, April 2024 versus Damian Priest, his entrance at Backlash. Compare it to any entrance in the history of the business and tell me that entrance by Jey Uso does not at least compete with it. At least compete with it. And he's still hot right now. He's still on fire right now. My girl loves him. My mom loves him. Like, this guy translates to every genre, bro. This dude is him. He's mini Roman Reigns, and I mean that in a complimentary way. He's mini Roman Reigns. And let me take it a step further, y'all. And I'm not happy to say this. He's better than Jimmy. And I like Jimmy. Jimmy's not rocking like this on SmackDown. And Jimmy's a funny, talented dude. In ring, out the ring, better on the microphone. He's not rocking like Jey. And they're getting to Triple H's credit, just to show you guys I'm not being unfair. They're trying to give Jimmy a run on SmackDown. I see what they're doing. They're trying to give Jimmy some momentum. But Jimmy's crowd reactions are not like Jey Uso. Not even close. The only Vinny we like, he says, Jey is this generation's Jeff Hardy. No, my brother. No. Got nothing but love for you. No. You know why? You know the difference, my guy? Jeff Hardy is a former multiple-time world champion, my guy. I know why you're saying what you're saying. So your point is strong, Vinny. I'm not trying to knock you. Your point is super strong. But Jey didn't get his moment as a world champion. Jeff Hardy's like a 7, 8 time WWE only, okay, like 2 or 3 time world champion, man. He won the title on both shows. Thank you, Matt. Emily's helped me out 3 times. 3 times in WWE. 3 times. He had his Armageddon was lit. I believe it. Help me out, y'all. Armageddon 2007 or 2008. It was in Buffalo, I think. That was lit. Jeff Hardy was him, but he got his moment. That's the wrong twin, by the way. Jimmy got complacent in his role, and Jey seemed to put more effort in the grab. Ooh, I like that. Strong point, my guy. Strong point. Thank you, Matt. Armageddon 2008. Jeff was him, and he won. Vinny says, this is where Jey suffers from being a twin. I think it would be different if they weren't brothers. Ooh. You think so? That's tough, but you might be right. You got me thinking now. I never thought about the fact that because they're twins. I mean, are you kind of putting the magnifying light on the fact that they're twins, Vinny? Because Matt and Jeff were brothers, but are you saying because they're twins specifically or just brothers? Get back to me on that. Conrad confirms it was Buffalo. He was there. That's so dope, bro. I'm glad you were there. That's a pretty good night. And Jeff, and Lizzie says, and Jeff longest world title run was 42 days as WWE champ, and second world title run was 36. Okay, fair enough. But Emily, and I think you're saying this because you agree with me, Emily. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he still has it on his resume. When Jeff Hardy retires, it's going to say, Jeff Hardy, 3-time WWE / World Heavyweight Champion. That means something, bro. That means something. You know, I was watching SmackDown tonight. I wasn't going to go here, y'all, but I'm going to go here right quick. You know, I was watching SmackDown tonight, and I was watching Apollo Crews walk down the aisle. And I heard Joe Tessitore say, here comes the former United States and Intercontinental Champion. Now, I know that Apollo Crews is the former United States and Intercontinental Champion. And I think Apollo Crews is a very good athlete. But the fact that that dude has more accolades than Jey Uso blows my mind. I can't be the only one who feels this way. I cannot be the only one who feels this way. Austin Theory, a multiple-time United States champion. There is no way Austin Theory should have more accolades than Jey Uso. That is madness. That is absolute madness. Austin Theory couldn't have a 2 or 3 year run like Jey Uso has just had to save his life. Bruh, Austin Theory, as talented, good-looking, charismatic as he can be, he couldn't have Jey Uso's last 2 or 3 years if his life depended on it. And yes, Conrad, Apollo Crews is a tremendous talent, but he is not Jey Uso. Not on that. And I'm making a point to say, why does Jey Uso's resume look so empty? Somebody help me understand. Vinny agrees with me that the title win by Jeff was lit in 08. That's a fact. I think twins because you can't think about one without the other. Oh, that's tough. I think Jeff and Matt can be thought about separately. That's a good point. That's a good point. I hate to say it, but that's a good point. I hope that not the way it plays out, but good point, Vinny. And Lizzie says, yeah, I'm saying Jey can have a month or two run as world champion if Jeff can get. Thank you, Emily. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Agreed, Conrad. Conrad adds, Theory, I feel bad for him. He doesn't have anyone behind him now either. Your daddy ain't here no more, quoting Roman Reigns. That's a fact. No argument there. I'm simply bringing them up. And Conrad adds different times for them too, for sure. That's a fact. Clown says, how many times Austin or Apollo hold the tag team titles? Jey has Austin Theory's hold the tag titles multiple times. And like I said, Apollo is a former United States and Intercontinental champion. But I bring that up to say, we all should agree. We don't have to agree, but we should all agree that resumes count. I'm going old school again with the same 3 names. Oh, here goes Sean again with the same 3 names. Yep, I'm going there again. Do you think that it should not be on Curt Hennig's resume to have been a former WWE champion or WCW champion? He was the AWA champion, but we all know it was like WCW, WWE. Does it sit right with you? Really sit right with you that Owen Hart never was world champion? Does it really, really sit well with you? Are you okay with the fact that Scott Hall, one of the most charismatic, one of the best ring technicians of all time, never was a world champion? Doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. Emily says Theory's push was killed when Roman Reigns cooked him. That's a fact. That's a fact. Vinny says Roman brought Jey to stardom, but Triple H will never go all the way with Jey. I agree. And that's the sad part about what we're looking at tomorrow night at Saturday night's main event. Vinny also says Jey low-key like the Buffalo Bills right now. So hot, so over, but never chosen to win the crown, and we're hoping they win it all. I know I am. As a Giant fan who has no dog in the race, I'm rocking with it going to be – I said Detroit and Buffalo. Clearly that's not going to be the case, but I'm going to go Buffalo and Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to pull off an upset, and I think Jaden Daniels is going to be the first rookie quarterback, somebody correct me on that, to lead his team to the Super Bowl. Look, y'all, I'm going to let y'all go, man. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night going into Saturday. But listen, man, we're all going to be watching Saturday night's main event. If Jey Uso wins the World Heavyweight Championship, I will go live immediately following Saturday night's main event. That being said, I'll probably see you on Monday. But I'll definitely see you on Monday. But what I'm saying is I'll probably end up seeing you the next time on Monday, because if you see me on here tomorrow night, that means Jey Uso is the world heavyweight champion, and I don't think that's going to happen. But once again, I want to thank each and every one of you guys, Conrad, Cleasy, M. Leezy, Vinny in the building. Appreciate you so much. Rob was here. So thankful for you guys. M. Leezy Fashizi once again. So thankful for you guys showing up and showing out tonight. You definitely made this show worthwhile. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. Like I said, I'll definitely see you guys Monday, 6:05 on the EPW channel for Clash of the Podcast. But I may see you tomorrow night after Saturday night's main event if Jey Uso is the world champion. So I'm going to predict that the next time I see you guys, we'll be on Monday. But we'll see. God bless. Be encouraged, even if it prevails. Thank you guys for being here. Have a good night.